All right, folks, strap in tight. This tale's gonna grip you by the throat and won't let go. About 20-something years back, an anonymous tipster shared this jaw-dropping story with me, and now I'm passing it on to you. Picture a fourth-grade classroom, wild with untamed freedom, where that tipster, barely 10 or 11, was just another kid, lost in the raw thrill of youth. Early spring crackled in the air, sharp and alive, the new school year still buzzing, winter break a fading whisper. Imagine it, a regular morning, the room humming with chatter, the tipster chilling with their lifelong buddy. No worries, no cares, just soaking up the simple joy of being a kid. Then, bam, the door slams open like a gunshot, and in stride two new girls. Transfers, lighting up the room like matches tossed into dry grass. Normally, newbies get split up, one here, one there, standard routine, but not today. By chance or fate, both land in this class, right next to the tipster and their pal. The teacher strolls in, all bright-eyed and oblivious, chirping, "Hey kids, meet your new classmates, say hi." The girls step forward side by side, and right then, something's off. The tipster's gut twists hard, instinct screaming, "This ain't right." They were like living stickers, mirror images rubbed onto reality. Same outfits, same backpacks swinging heavy, same hairpins glinting under the fluorescence, down to the socks hugging their ankles, the bracelets jangling on their wrists, every detail synced to perfection. Fourth graders, folks, just a decade old, looking like they'd been stamped from the same mold. The only difference is their faces wildly unalike, and their builds. One a fragile wisp, small enough to pass for a second grader, the other towering high, a shadow nearly matching the boys, dominating the room without a word. Both named Park Jin-joo, same exact name, so the class started calling them Little Jin-joo and Big Jin-joo to keep it straight. The tipster locked those labels in their head before the real confusion could fog up everything. The room erupts in whispers, curiosity sparking like static. Who are these girls? And right there, the mystery kicks off with a chill no one can shake. All right, folks, here's where the story digs deeper. Let's unravel this eerie memory an anonymous tipster spilled to me, piece by chilling piece. The moment those two Park Jin-joos stepped into the classroom, every eye locked onto them. Little Jin-joo gave a shy nod, barely responding to the teacher's intro, while Big Jin-joo stood silent, filling the space with her overwhelming presence alone. This is Park Jin-joo, transferred from some school out there. Be nice to her, the teacher said brightly, pointing to Little Jin-joo. Then, swinging to Big Jin-joo, he added, "And this is Park Jin-joo too, from the exact same school. Look out for her too." Hold up, what? Same name, same old school? How does that even work? The room started buzzing, like leaves rustling in the wind, kids whispering, trading looks that said, "This is weird, right?" The tipster froze, their mind exploding with questions. Same name, coincidence, or something hidden? The second the first period ended, curiosity ignited, and the kids swarmed the two Jin-joos, heat bursting out like a scorching July day. "Are you sisters? Twins?" The questions flew fast. TV drama cliches popped up. Twins dress alike, don't they? But their faces didn't match at all, and that height gap. Little Jin-joo was short and frail, while Big Jin-joo was sleek and striking. The twin theory crumbled in seconds. The kids scratched their heads, baffled, and the tipster muttered to themselves, "Something's off. It's too perfect." Then Little Jin-joo piped up. Big Jin-joo just stood there mute, and the words tumbled out. "We've been best friends since we were little. she said cheerfully, like that explained it all. The tipster nodded. They had a lifelong pal too, so it clicked. Oh, that's why they're dressed the same. Super close girls do that, they thought, brushing it off. But behind that voice, something flickered in little Jin-joo's eyes, too quick to catch, but the tipster later recalled. I felt uneasy right then. The classroom settled back into routine, but the questions around those two stuck like gum on a shoe, growing bigger by the day. This was only the beginning. All right, folks, now you'll feel the tension in your bones. This story the anonymous tipster told me is sliding into darker corners. As days rolled by, the two Park Jin-joos became inseparable in that classroom, always together, moving like a single shadow. Little Jin-joo was a motor mouth, her words spilling non-stop, filling the air with pointless chatter. Average face, nothing striking, just another girl, but that mouth never quit. Big Jin-joo was the opposite, quiet, shy, barely speaking, like she didn't know how to string words together. But her beauty? It stopped you cold. The tipster later said, when she walked in that first day, I thought she was some child actress. Her beauty radiated like a glow. Tall, stunning, with a poised smile, she became the class's first crush, especially for the boys. But then the weirdness crept in. Little Jin-joo started bossing Big Jin-joo around. Not casual friend stuff, but like she was a servant. Jin-joo, do this. Jin-joo, grab that, she'd toss out. And Big Jin-joo would silently dig into her own stuff and hand it over. No complaints, no pushback. She wouldn't even check her own pencil case. Just, Jin-joo, give me something. And Big Jin-joo obeyed, mute as ever. Textbooks too. She'd skip her own, snatch Big Jin-joo's with a Jin-joo, gimme your Korean book, your math book, leaving Big Jin-joo empty-handed sitting there without a peep. The tipster thought, this is wrong, she's controlling her. Then one day, it blew up. Class ended. Kids were packing up. Slap. A sharp crack ripped through the room. Everyone froze. What the hell? Little Jin-joo's hand was raised. Big Jin-joo clutching her cheek, head bowed, no warning out of nowhere. Little Jin-joo snapped, Hey, Park Jin-joo, I'm number 10. You're 11. Don't mess it up. Huh? The tipster's mind spun. Was she mad about mixed up numbers? Little Jin-joo struggled with grades. Big Jin-joo aced everything. Did she want to steal her scores? Little Jin-joo stormed out fuming, while Big Jin-joo quietly rubbed her cheek, packed up and muttered at the door. Jin-joo's waiting. No anger, no tears, just resignation. The tipster's blood boiled. Why doesn't she fight back? This is insane. But they couldn't say it. 11-year-old fury tangled with helplessness. Right then, everyone sensed it. Something beyond a friendship bound these two, and that unease was just starting to crack open. All right, folks, now your breath's gonna catch. This tale from the anonymous tipster is about to twist your heart inside out. A month after the Park Jin-joos showed up, little Jin-joo casually tossed out, My birthday's next week, party at my play school as ever, she added. Sunday this time, school gate, don't be late. The class asked why not give us your address. She waved it off. No big deal, just be there. The tipster tilted their head. Every day those girls rolled up in a gleaming black Benz E-Class, dropped off and picked up like clockwork. In the 90s, foreign cars were rare. Even a Hyundai Grandeur XG screamed wealth, but a Benz. That was money on wheels, driver or dad at the helm, reeking of riches. They're loaded, the tipster thought, not digging deeper, though a mysterious aura clung to them. That Sunday, right on time at the gate. Two 30-seater buses loomed. Little Jin-joo stood there beckoning. "Come on, kids. Up you go, careful." Drivers swung the doors open and they piled in. The ride took 30, maybe 40 minutes, winding through streets until they stopped at a mansion straight out of a K-drama. Lion-headed iron gates, sprawling gardens stretching forever, a doorbell chiming with cash. Inside was a movie set. Long tables piled high with every food imaginable. Chicken, pizza, tteokbokki, fruit, desserts. A fourth grader's party didn't deserve this extravagance. The tipster's mind reeled. What the hell is this? Later, they learned little Jin-joo's dad was a CEO, not a conglomerate titan, but raking in enough to live like this. For a small-town kid used to dirt roads and hand-me-downs, it was a blinding first taste of wealth. The party roared, music thumped, kids laughed and ran wild. Cake time came, and usually it's one per birthday, right? But two rolled out, one for little Jin-joo, the other set before big Jin-joo. The tipster's head spun. What? They're not sisters. Why two? Whispers rippled, but the party rolled on, and then it hit. They shared a birthday. Too eerie to process. Little Jin-joo held court with the girls, basking in awe. "What's my house like? Dad runs a company. I've always lived this way, no biggie." Someone piped up. "Why is big Jin-joo celebrating here?" She smirked. "She's my friend. Her dad's our driver." What? That Benz driver was big Jin-joo's father. Pieces snapped into place, chilling the tipster's spine. They replayed it. Little Jin-joo bossed her around in the car too. "Jin-joo, grab this, pass that," tapping her head, kicking the seat, rude as hell. "No, not that. This," she'd switch. And big Jin-joo silently dug through the glove box, handing it over while her dad drove. Face blank, no reaction. Why doesn't he snap? His daughter's treated like that. The tipster wondered, until it clicked. TV drama realness. Rich kid, driver's kid. Class drew a hard line even among children. Big Jin-joo's dad likely lived in some cramped corner of that mansion with her. No mom ever mentioned, just them clinging to the edges of that lavish world. Their party wound down, but Monday flipped the classroom upside down. The teacher's voice was heavy. The Park Jin-joos were in a crash. That bike day, after dropping the tipster home, it happened. Minor, but big Jin-joo and her dad walked away. Little Jin-joo fell into a coma. Shock numbed the kids, too sudden to sink in. The tipster nudged their pal, who just nodded, eerily calm, leaving them more confused. Time blurted over, until years later, a college freshman tipster heard the bombshell from an uncle at a family gathering. Little Jin-joo's parents, told their daughter was fated to die at 11, fell into despair. They turned to a shaman, known in Korea as a mudang, a shadowy figure cloaked in mystique, revered and feared for channeling spirits, reading fortunes, and twisting the threads of destiny with rituals steeped in ancient tradition. This wasn't some roadside fortune teller. He'd transformed their struggling factory into a gold mine with predictions so precise they seemed cursed. His incense-choked lair a shrine to their success. They worshipped him, returning yearly with offerings for his cryptic guidance. "Save our daughter. We'll give you everything," they pleaded, voices cracking, tears staining the floor. He scowled through the smoke. Fate's unyielding, but their sobs wore him down, or maybe the promise of gold did. His eyes glinted as he rasped. "One way exists. Swap her life with another girl's, born under the same stars." They balked. Kill another child? But little Jin-joo's mom lost it, snatching a blade from his altar, shrieking, "If she dies, I die too," pressing it to her throat till her husband caved. The shaman, palms greased with cash, wove his dark bargain, he tracked down Big Jin-joo's dad, a broken gambler drowning in debt, his life a wreckage after his wife fled years back, leaving him and his daughter in squalor. The shaman slid a fat stack across a rickety table, his voice a serpent's hiss. "Sell her fate. This'll bury your debts and then some." The man didn't blink, handed over Big Jin-joo's life like it was spare change, trading her future for little Jin-joo's, cursing his own flesh, with the death sentence meant for the rich girl. Same birthday, destiny swapped. Little Jin-joo was marked to perish at 11, and Big Jin-joo stole her thread to live long instead. The tipster later saw it clear, the twin cakes, matching outfits, that suffocating bond, all stitched into this sinister tapestry, but the crash tore it apart. Big Jin-joo and her dad walked free, while little Jin-joo sank into a coma, and before anyone could blink, they vanished from the hospital, shadows swallowed by the night. Little Jin-joo's dad hunted them. "I needed to apologize," he sobbed to the tipster's teacher. But in a world without cell phones, they were phantoms, gone without a trace. The shaman's den stood empty too, trashed and abandoned. He'd bolted, likely trembling at his own unraveling scheme. The tipster sat, head in hands. What is this? Did fate bend, or did they break it with blood? All right, folks, we've reached the final stretch. This wild tale from the anonymous tipster wraps up here, but its shadow lingers like a ghost in the room. That bike day, when the tipster sat alone with Big Jin-joo, tearing into hot dogs from a street cart, the memory seared itself deep. She chewed in silence, but her face was a storm cloud, too heavy for an 11-year-old, stripped of that carefree light kids should have. The tipster couldn't hold back, voice soft but urgent. "Hey, you okay? What was up with that slap the other day?" She shrugged, eyes barely lifting. "I'm fine. It's been like that since we were little. I don't mind." Her tone flat, brushing it off like dust. That emptiness, no spark of anger, no hint of tears, lit a fire in the tipster instead. They burst out. "You're not stupid. You're tall, smart, miles better than her. Why do you let her stomp all over you like that?" Big Jin-joo locked eyes with them, her gaze steady, and dropped a line cold as forged steel. "To survive, what wouldn't you do?" The words hit like a sledgehammer. The tipster stammered, "What the hell does that mean?" They pressed, but she shut it down. "Forget it. I'm fine." Sharp and final, and soon her dad rolled up in the Benz, whisking her off into the dusk. That night, sleep dodged the tipster. To survive, what wouldn't you do? Spun in their head like a broken record. Then it crashed into place. Big Jin-joo knew. She'd carried the weight of that swapped fate, swallowing every insult to keep the life she'd been handed. Monday morning, both Jin-joos were gone. Empty desks stared back like a silent void. The crash left Big Jin-joo and her dad unscathed, but little Jin-joo lay comatose, and the tipster's world tilted. They dialed their childhood pal, voice shaky. "You remember Jin-joo?" He cut them off sharp as a blade. "Don't bring that up." Turns out he'd harbored a quiet crush on Big Jin-joo too, but stuck to little Jin-joo back then. A kid's instinct he couldn't name, keeping them apart. Years later, over holiday drinks with family, the tipster's young uncle dropped the final blow, straight from their old teacher, who'd heard it from little Jin-joo's dad over a reunion bottle. After the crash, he'd staggered into another shaman's lair, different from the first. This one a grizzled woman with beads rattling around her neck, her voice rough from years of chanting to spirits. He thrust little Jin-joo's birth chart at her. When will my girl wake? Her eyes narrowed through the haze of burning herbs, scanning the paper. Then she tossed it back, snarling, "Why bring me a dead girl's fate? She's gone. Give it up." He reeled. "She's not dead, just comatose." She spat. "Same thing, her thread's cut." Then, clutching Big Jin-joo's swap chart, he begged, "What about her?" The shaman's face softened, a rare glint of awe. "Strong as iron, dripping with luck. She'll see 90, maybe beyond." He broke, his daughter doomed, while Big Jin-joo's path stretched golden. Sobbing, he spilled the whole twisted deal to her, and she erupted, "You fool! That first shaman was a snake. He swapped your girl's blessed fate for his own kin's rot." The tipster's jaw dropped as the uncle relayed it. Big Jin-joo's mom hadn't just left. She was the first shaman's wife in on the con, trading her daughter's death sentence for little Jin-joo's life, then vanishing with the cash. Little Jin-joo flatlined soon after, her organs donated, while Big Jin-joo and her dad melted into the ether. No note, no trail. The tipster slumped, staring into the dark. Was it fate's cold hand, or did they claw it apart? Did Big Jin-joo run because the swap stuck, or because she saw through the betrayal? No answers came. Their childhood sank into that abyss, leaving only jagged scars and questions that gnaw. This ain't a tidy bow, folks. Life's a raw, unruly beast, and this story stays messy, haunting, unresolved. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild ride, everyone. Hit that like button if it gripped you, and I'll catch you in the next tale.